Okay, so welcome everybody. We're going to discuss today a very important, significant topic, which is about angels, creating angels, sending angels, the meaning of angels, how it plays any role in our lives. And so it says here, וישלח יעקב מלאכים, רבי יהודה פתח, כי מלאכיו יצווה לך לשמרך. מקרה זה באירוע החברים. And so there is a discussion here between Rabbi Shimon and his students. כי בשעה שהאדם בא לעולם, so the minute that a human being is coming to this world, is born, מיד היצר הרע בא עמו. Immediately, instantly, as the baby takes his first breath, that is the time that the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, takes over. Not takes over, it's not the right word. Miyad Yetzer Hara ba'imo. Well, yes, it does. The translation from the Zohar is comes into him, becomes part of him. So imagine like you have here the movie The Exorcist, which is like possession, and then you have the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, which is basically the same thing. It is also a possession. And שהוא מקטרג עליו תמיד, and the job of the evil inclination is to tease the human being. לקטרג is more than teasing, it's actually like to bother him. This is the job of the evil inclination. כמו שאמר הכתוב, לפתח חטאת רובץ. What is חטאת רובץ, which is a code? הוא היצר הרע. And so the יצר הרע is the evil inclination. פירושו, the significance, לפתח בית הרחם. And so it goes in the opening. So if you can picture the opening of the woman when the baby comes out, that's the רחם. כלומר, תכף עם הולדו של האדם. It is at the port of entry. As soon as the baby comes out, that this energy, this conscious energy, take possession. Are you scared or not yet? Yes? No. Good. Wasn't the intention. ודוד קרא גם כן את היצר הרע בשם חטאת. And David the king, who was, even though he was a warrior, a fighter, he also was very wise. And he also would call the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, Chatat. And actually, Chatat, so it's interesting because there is the word in it, Chatat Rovetz. So Chatat, we also have the word of the Chatat in Chatati, which means I sinned. So in Hebrew, when you say Chatati, it means that, I did something wrong. Chatati, I sinned. And so the code name for the evil inclination, Chatat Rovetz, is the one that is causing the human being to sin. So you might think, we all might think that we are mostly in control, but there is almost zero control over our reactions. Why? Because we might have a certain weakness, and I'm not only talking about psychological or emotional, we might have, say, a body part that has weakness. It can be, let's say, the lungs. It has been proven for 1 or 2 centuries already how the ills of an individual, the physical ills of an individual, they are somewhat connected to an emotional, to a spiritual dysfunction and lack. or something of that sort. So, I mean, Louise Hay, I've wrote many things about it, and it's pretty much like, all sorts of philosophies out there that are teaching us about this. But this is what, like you would say, somebody who has anger, rage, has likely issues with the gallbladder and the liver. It's interesting, right? That the frequency of that emanates, because each limb has its own frequency, is in connection with one negative emotion, right? And so the same works for the positive. Like if you think about uh, the frequency of love, it would resonate with the chakra of the heart, right? And so going back to the chicken and egg story, which one feeds the other first? If a person has liver issues or a weak liver, would that make this person inclined to have anger issues? Or the other side of the coin is, if you have tendency to be angry, is there a chance that at some point you're going to have issues with your liver? Chicken and the egg story, although the Rav solved that mystery, which one comes first. If you remind me at the end, I will tell you the answer. And so, again, we're going back to what David HaMelech, King David, is saying. ודוד קרא גם כך את היצר הרע בשם חטאת. So King David also called the evil inclination חטאת, because it's written חטאתי נגדי תמיד. So the word sinning is in the word of the evil inclination. והוא משום שבכל יום עושה את האדם להחטיא לפניו ריבונו. So, the words, he makes itself his life mission. That is the life mission, the existence mission of that conscious energy, of that intelligent energy, to cause man to sin, to cause man to make the wrong choices, to do the wrong thing. והיצר הרע זה, and this evil inclination, אינו שר מן האדם מיום הולדו, and so in this evil inclination is not going anywhere, it's not going away, it's not extracted at any time, any point in the lifespan of an individual, ad olam, for as long as he exists. As long as you breathe, the evil inclination is part of you. והיצר הטוב, rephrasing, the evil inclination is part of us. So it's like it's part of you, but it's not part of me. Trust me, it's also part of me. והיצר הטוב בא אל האדם, and then comes a new actor that is called the יצר הטוב. So there is the יצר הרע, which is the evil inclination, and then there is the יצר הטוב, that is the good inclination. בא אל האדם, and comes to man מיום שבא להיטהר, that is coming to man from the moment, from the day that he is coming, or she is coming, to purify, to cleanse, to be pure again. מתי האדם בא להיטהר? When is it that the human being comes to purify? הוא בשעה שהוא בן י"ג שנה. And so there is a correlation here in the age for men and for women, that the evil inclination comes into the body of a 13-year-old boy and 12-year-old girl. אז מתחבר האדם בשניהם, and only then the human being is connected to both the evil and the good inclination. אחד בימין ואחד בשמאל, one on the right and one on the left. היצר הטוב בימין, so the good inclination is on the right, and the יצר הרע, and the evil inclination is on the left. ואלו הם שני מלאכים, and those two are two angels. ממונים ממש, they are untrusted. They are programmed to play the role. So the difference between us human beings and angels, the angel kingdom, is that we have a choice. So you might get a task from your boss, and then supposed to be like 7 hours, 8 hours job, but at the second hour you get bored and you really can't do this anymore, and you find ways to get away from it, to get out of it. It is your choice, right? You have a free will. The difference with the angels is that angels don't have a free will. They don't have a free will. They don't have a central column. They either have the right and the left, and that's it. They don't have the central column as we do. But I would say not as a perspective of lack, because from the kingdom of angels, there is no evil inclination. So it's not that like they have to restrict in order to make a better decision. There is no evil in their kingdom. They live on a higher sphere. They live on a higher realm, a level of consciousness. So they're not tempted by the evil inclination in the way that we are, so that we are inclined or obligated to activate our central column, our restriction to say, no, I will not sin, I will not disconnect, I will not make the wrong choice. ואלו שני מלאכים, and so additionally what we say about angels is that we call angels omdim, which is the standing, and we call the human being the holchim, which means the walking, take a walk. Why? Because we are in this movement where we can go, one day good mood, next day bad mood, and you'll be inclined to do better decisions when you're in a good mood, etc. It's kind of a boring state of mind with the angels because it's always good, right? So they're not tempted the way that we are by the evil inclination. So they are memunim, they are assigned a job, a program, and they cannot stray away from it, right? So if the good inclination receives the job of being the good inclination, the next day they don't wake up depressed and say, I don't want to do this job anymore. For one day I want to try the evil inclination. It doesn't work this way. They are assigned, each one of them, one to do the evil or to tempt the evil, and one to tempt the good. And by the way, this is the only thing that they can do. They can only tempt. They can only inspire. They cannot make you do, right? So a lot of people would today, especially after learning Kabbalah 1, Kabbalah 2, Kabbalah 3, Kabbalah 23, you have come to that state of saying, oh, it's not me, it's my evil inclination. That is when we're becoming spiritually, Kabbalistically smart, but it's not a good excuse. Why? Because they cannot make us do. The one and the only one that has the power of decision, it's not the evil inclination. The evil inclination does not have the power to make us choose, to make us do anything. And so if one of us is making the choice of, something bad or something wrong or something off, we need to take responsibility because yes, the evil inclination has done its job, the good inclination has done its job, you made your choice. The same as you reminded your children when they were 5, 6, or 7, do not play with fire, but then when you were not watching, it was their choice to play with fire or not. The Creator, angels, our guardians, our ancestors, that's the only thing that they can do. They can only inspire, send us messages, all sorts of coincidence, that they can hint us the direction and the guidance, but they cannot make us do. בא אדם לתאר, and so when a man or a woman come to purify, נכנע יצר הרע לפניו. And so it's incredible because all that it takes is a decision. Even prior to the act, can you imagine, even prior to the act of choosing the right, from the moment that let's say you went through an off time, a week, 2 weeks of downtime, depressed, sad, lack of consciousness, fearful, worried, stressed, anxious about the future, about tomorrow. But then you got to this conclusion, you cannot continue this way. And it takes this one spark, one moment that you make the choice. I have to make a decision to win life for myself. Do something for myself, because continuing like this day after day, it's leading me to nowhere that is good. So therefore, I need to make the decision to be more positive, to be more optimistic, to share, to do, to contribute, to restrict, whatever it is. The moment that you make that decision, even prior to the act itself, we're already receiving the support of the good inclination. And it says here in Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination is, what's the word in war? When they go back, they retreat. The evil inclination retreats from the moment that we decide to do something positive, either for others or for ourselves. The moment that we have doubt, uncertainty, and our passion, excitement is starting to go down the hill, the invitation is the same. It's just that the difference is not with the good inclination, it's for the evil inclination. It works exactly the same way. So down the hill works exactly the same as up the hill. Even if so many directions, learnings, scholars, writings are telling us, oh, it's so much harder to go up the hill than going down the hill. It's not true. It takes exactly the same quality and amount of effort to make a decision. And from the moment that you make that decision, there is already a relief that is introduced into our being, into our heart, into our mind. It's like all that I've been self-sabotaging is behind me. Because now I've decided to do something good, either about me or about the world or about my family or about my job or my health or whatever it is. Nichna hayetzer hara lefanav, surrendering. The evil inclination surrenders to the good inclination the moment, the instant that man is making that decision to purify. Vayamin sholet, and so the right inclination, the right side that is connected to the good inclination, sholet al asmol, the right is controlling the left. ושניהם, and so both of them, היצר הטוב והיצר הרע, the good and the bad inclination, מתחברים לשמור את האדם בכל דרכיו שהוא הולך. That is insane what I just read. But I'm going to keep it for myself. וזהו שכתוב, no, I'm just kidding, I'm going to tell you. It's incredible. I've read it like many times and it just seems like I missed it before. בא אדם לתאר, and so from the moment that man or woman decide to purify, again, to purify is not religious attribute. It is somebody that decides to get back on his feet. You were not doing so good, you were depressed, you were sad, you were crippled with the doubts and uncertainty, and comes this moment that, and the moment comes to everybody, can come to anybody, that you say, that you tell yourself, no more. And in this moment that you make the decision, היצר הרע לפניו, the יצר הרע is coming in front of the individual, and I'm sorry, the נכנע היצר הרע לפניו, the evil inclination is surrendering to the good, והימין שולט, and the good inclination is dominating the left, ושניהם, and both of them at this point, היצר הטוב והיצר הרע, the evil and the good inclination, מתחברים. They both connect, they both become one. The evil and the good inclination become one, לשמור את האדם, to keep, to protect the human being, בכל דרכיו, in all his ways, שהוא הולך, in any path that he would choose to go. וזהו שכתוב, and here it's written, כי מלאכיו יצווה לך לשמרך בכל דרכך. And from that moment that you make that choice, those angels would protect your path wherever you go. So it's interesting because we would always think, if you want to have your path protected and surrendered with this beautiful aura and whatever, you need to connect to the positive angels, you need to connect to the prophets, to the righteous. But here the Zohar says something even more unexpected, I would say. The moment that you choose to do something for yourself, to stand up from that place where there was sorrow, sadness, depression, lack of excitement or passion, whatever it is, the moment that you make that decision to purify your desire and your being and your actions and the reality, the existence of your life, in that moment the good inclination takes over, takes dominance over the left, and they both unify as one, and they both become protectors of the individual. It's incredible. Any questions this far? No questions. In the story of Vaishlach, there is the whole segment about Jacob sending angels to his brother Esau. But I'm just going to read for you the passage where he deals with all those angelic ramifications. רבי אבא מעמיד את המקרה הזה ביעקב. And so Rabbi Abba is discussing this event with Jacob, שהקדוש ברוך הוא הזמין עמו מלאכים מחנות ממונים. And so the Creator is inviting those angels from different camps. And by the way, also last week we spoke also about angels, where Jacob is laying his head against the rock and then has a dream with angels going up and down. So I wouldn't say in the Torah, because in the Torah it's really coded. So even if we translate it here and there, the angelic words, we don't really get like the full strength of the meaning. But in the Zohar, it talks at length about angels as it is an essential part of our existence. משום שהיה בה שלם עם השבטים העליונים. And so we're talking here about Jacob being complete, being whole with the different tribes, shvatim, with the different tribes, ha'elyonim, from the upper world. So there was from Jacob the birth of the 12 tribes, but before the 12 tribes came into being, he was already whole, he was already complete with the tribes in the upper world, which the Zohar signify that, again, this is another hint and another message for us to understand that before anything needs to come into being, into physical manifestation in this physical world, it needs to be whole, it needs to be completed, it needs to be created in the upper world. שהיו כולם שלמים כראוי, and each of those tribe was whole, was complete in the upper world, כמו שנאמר, ויעקב הלך לדרכו, והפגעו בו מלאכי אלוקים, והוא נתבהר וכאן אחד שניצל מלבן. And so those same angels from the different tribes played a role in the different tests that he went through. One of them, an example that he was given here, was one of the angels that saved him from Lavan, who was his father-in-law. ונפרד ממנו, Nitchabra imo השכינה. And so when this angel departed from him, the Shekhinah connected instead, ומחנות מלאכים קדושים באו לסבב אותו. Camps, tribes of angels after that came to surrender him and to protect him. ואז, ויאמר יעקב כאשר רעם וגומר, ומלאו המלאכים שלח לעשיו. And all those angels that came to him from that elevated space that he reached as the Shekhinah, he connected to the Shekhinah at this point, וזהו שכתוב, וישלח יעקב מלאכים, and Jacob sent angels. For anybody that reads or hears the Torah on Shabbat, for instance, it says, and Jacob sent angels, and then we move on to the next thing. But nobody really stops at saying, wait a second, what does it mean to send angels? How did we come about to discuss angels? What type of angels? Because if you were upset at anybody, let's say at your loved one today, at your child, at your husband, at your wife, at your ex-girlfriend, or whatever it is, for a moment, like for, 30 seconds, you remembered something that this person did and got you really mad as if it just happened like 5 minutes ago. Not much, right? And you forget about it. You forget, like it is tens of thousands of thoughts throughout the day are crossing our minds. So we're not like stopping every second. Oh, it's interesting. I was thinking, like you think about something, you think about a situation or a person that aggravated you somewhere today at 12:07 in the afternoon. You don't remember what you were thinking because so many thoughts are going through your mind. But each one of those thoughts are creating packets of light, packets of consciousness. And this is what it needs to be regarded as. It's like balls of tennis of energy. So you were thinking about a situation or an individual or a company or a boss or an ex or whatever it is, or somebody that is in your house right now, and every time, and you're like in the midst, it's like live and it's like hot. You just had like, like a conflict or an argument. It doesn't matter if it happened 2 seconds ago, you're living it in this moment, or you were thinking about something that happened like 10 years ago, and as you think about it, it's upsetting you. First of all, you should know if it's still upsetting you, you didn't travel in time. You're traveling in the now. You're harboring, you are storing that energy inside of you. And so that angel, that packet of energy, is in resonance, one, with that consciousness, with that memory, two, with the body part. Because if you're trying to locate where is that emotion located in your body, you really truly ask, you're going to find it. It's in your heart, it's in your kidney, it's in your leg, it's in your head, it's in your lips, it's in your ears, whatever it is, doesn't matter. We are storing those energies that are basically angels that are tuned with whatever it is, an event or a story or an occurrence that happened in your life yesterday, today, or 10 years ago, or a lifetime ago. So when we're discussing sending energy, sending angels, we're not just talking here, obviously, because we're talking about Jacob. Jacob has done tremendous spiritual, individual, personal work, first in the upper world, before he manifested through his children, the 12 tribes, because each one of them was a chariot of a sphira, channel of energies, tremendous accomplishment. But we're not just talking about positive energy, we're also talking about negative energy. Every time that you are dwelling in that negative energy, you are stretching, energizing, which already exists in you to last a little bit longer, another month, another year, another lifetime. But you're also sending it to that person who did something to you. You're like Jacob. You are sending energy. You're sending angels. This is not strange at all what I'm saying, right? if you want to, what is it that we did? What is the first thing that we did before we started this session? Sending angels to Anna, dedicating, meditating for her good health, hopefully, as a whole, as a group, we're meditating to send positive energy, positive angels of light and healing to Anna. But as you're spending these 2 minutes, these 5 minutes, these 3 weeks chewing over something that happened that didn't make you feel very good, in that moment you're sending negative angels, you're sending a bad vibe, it's a frequency of energy to that person. And that person receiving that energy from you is going to also think about you. And as a result, is going to send you at least an equal energy. We believe in that, right? We believe in those coincidences, somebody that you didn't see for 2 years, you were like thinking about him, and boom, the phone rings. It's not a coincidence, it's telepathy. We're all interconnected. But it works the same way. Those angels, those frequencies, those intelligent energies, we have the power to create, to generate. We are co-creators of good energy and bad energy. The message, the lesson that we're getting today is that, spend a little bit more time sending positive energy. But there is just as much that we can control. How much can we control? I find myself thinking about those things 100 times a day. And I'm catching myself, oh my gosh, I'm not sending very good vibe. I should stop myself. You know what? Not because I care so much about the other person. I don't care about the other person. But I care about myself. I care about my family. I care about my projects or the things that I'm working on. So be selfish. Think about what you are sending to yourself, drawing to yourself back after you're spending any minute, any moment thinking whatever it is that you're thinking. And it doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're right, because if you're right and you're sending negative vibes because, yes, this person betrayed you, stole from you, and did whatever that person was actually volunteered to do. The soul of this individual volunteered to do. Why? Because there was a lesson to learn. Whatever that lesson, we're not going to get into that right now. But is it worth it? I'm holding dear to my family, to my health, to my children, to my spouse, to my future, to my financial situation, to my health. Any minute that I'm thinking about this person that aggravated me, that betrayed me, that abused, that did whatever it is that they did, it's going to come back. Don't spend any minute thinking about this person, that situation in a negative way, because this is equally what we're getting back. וישלח יעקב מלאכים, מלאכים ממש בוודאי היו. Real angels would be created with simply our intentions, with our prayers, with our actions. And if we want to create purer and purer angels, we need to watch over our words, our intentions, our desires, our thoughts, our actions, to be and to become more and more pure. Any questions? We good? I'm going to wish everybody a week filled with positive angels, positive actions, thoughts, and intentions, so that by next week, our life is going to be already tremendously better. And again, meditating, praying for Anna for full recovery. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Yehuda.
Thank you.
Great class.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.